Ladies and gents, it's Monday, it's a brand new week, and it's time for an alternative paper review. There should be a word, right? Perhaps a sort of medical term, possibly in Latin, that describes that weird anomaly where conservatives, who ordinarily any other day, week, or month in the electoral cycle operate in a space of self-serving sociopathy, but curiously, just as they're about to be kicked out of office, they're psychologically able to access the enzymes and synapses responsible for empathy and compassion. Because, if there was a term for that, I would be saying that right now. That is a space that we are in. I think we're seeing a lot of conservatives suffering from that mental abnormality right now. Because across the right-wing rags this morning, we're seeing PM's horror and regret over blood scandal. This is the NHS contaminated blood scandal where people went in for routine procedures, they were jabbed with contaminated blood, they came away with all sorts of weird and wonderful conditions. And this whole time, they've been fighting for justice and compensation and just some acknowledgement that their loved ones were taken from them before time or that they are now forced to live with debilitating conditions. And this whole time, successive administrations have been like, look, it sounds really bad, but could we look into this something a little bit further down the line, please? Constantly kicking the can down the road. But now, front page of the Telegraph, PM's regrets over it. The Express are like, it's the least we could do. Apology to blood scandal victims. The Daily Mail, PM's apology for worst treatment disaster in history. There's an apology now. There's regret. So you might be forced to ask yourself, why now? Why are they suddenly willing to apologise and acknowledge that there might be some state money that needs to be put aside to compensate these victims? Why now? And the answer to that is, up until now, they've wanted to use the money for other things. You know, this might sound like a relatively obscure hospital-based drama, but actually the compensation for this mess-up could go up to 20 billion. And we can't have 20 billion going to a few jabby plebs. I mean, they were going into the hospital anyway. They were probably sick. They'd probably be dead by now anyway, wouldn't they? That money would be better spent on a locum doctor contractor agency run by a donor or a garden bridge. But now we've got a Labour government on the horizon and the Tories are doing their best to weave a narrative of, well, where's the money coming from? Oh, you've got a £30 billion black hole there, kid. Well, now they're doing exactly what they accused Labour of when the Tories got in 2010, right? With, there isn't any money. It's that, they're spaffing all of this money up the wall. They're going to write a cheque for 20 billion to rob the Labour administration of an extra 20 billion.
Prince Andrew's a nonce burger.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, in this new realm of cuddly conservative compassion, the Eye are reporting that Rishi Sunak is announcing there is a new type of AI breast cancer treatment that he's going to make available on the NHS. Oh, he's such a lovely bloke, Sunak. I've always said that. He's really, really nice. I mean, forget the fact that neither he nor any of his family touched the NHS with a barge pole, that he's failed to hire 5,000 GPs that they committed to at the last general election. Where are the 40 hospitals? The nurses striking, the doctors striking, dentistry is in the bin, social care is in pieces. Instead of increasing GP capacity, this pharmacist's son wants your pharmacist to start moonlighting. The waiting list is longer than it's ever been. Cholera and scurvy are back. But suddenly now, just as he's about to get kicked out of office, the psychological anomaly kicks in and he's willing to throw a few billion at this too. I'm at the gates to Downing Street. I'm like, "Oi, Rish." It's like if ever there was a good day to ask a billionaire for some money, Monday, May the 20th has got to be up there. Like, Rish, I've got mortgage arrears over here. Could you sling us a couple of billy? Finally, to the Sun. This morning, reindeer Martha stalked Keir Starmer. This is a story that Fiona Harvey, who is largely thought to be the inspiration for the baby reindeer character Martha, who is a stalker, it sounds like she was sending almost 300 abusive emails to Sir Keir Starmer. And the Sun report that these messages were hostile, they were vile, they were abusive, which is obviously shocking stuff, right? It must have been very frightening for Keir Starmer and or his support staff, whoever read those messages and whenever they were sent. And it raises lots of questions, doesn't it, about mental health, but also about the dangers that politicians face in the UK in the 21st century. But finally, crucially, it raises one unanswered question for me. When are the Tories going to give Fiona Harvey a shot at running the CCHQ Twitter account?